Right, so now what we're going to talk about is tree safety and tree lighting safety as well. The importance of a live tree is making sure that it's properly hydrated at all times. So have your water bucket underneath and make sure that you're checking it daily and that you're topping it off as needed. A dry tree can easily catch fire, and so we just want to make sure that it's properly hydrated so you don't have any fire safety issues with a live tree. We have an artificial tree here, and a lot of these are pre-lit, which is a huge benefit. However, some people like to add more lights to it like we did here. And these ones, they're LED lights, which is great. They don't emit a lot of heat. But if you have some of the older lights, those actually do emit quite a bit of heat. And so you really want to be mindful of those and make sure that you don't have a whole bunch of them in one particular area. It's going to generate a lot of heat and cause damage to your tree, maybe even possibly a fire. You also want to go through and you also want to check your wires. Make sure that there's no cracks or tears or any damage that's been done to the wire where the wires are now exposed. And then as you're checking your wires, make sure your bulbs are intact too. Some of these, the tip can break off and it can be pretty sharp, and then it's got a little filament in there, and so the wires can be exposed as well, and that can be a fire hazard. So we want to make sure we check all those before we put them on. The next thing that we really want to look at is how do we plug everything in together underneath the tree. Let's go take a look. Every single one of these light strands has a tag on it with the manufacturer's recommendations for how many strands you can actually plug into each other. And since they're all different, just make sure that you're reading yours. But some of them will say you can't have any more than 3 strands plugged into each other like that. So just be mindful of that. And then a lot of people tend to use some kind of weird extension cords and maybe even multiple prong adapters, and we just want to avoid those as much as possible. So we're just going to remove these out of here and clean it up a little bit. So we're going to remove these from here, and then what we really want to do is we want to focus on plugging those directly into a plug bar, and it's got a safety circuit in there so that if there is an electrical issue, it'll trip at the plug bar and not actually affect your electrical system. And that's the safest way to do it. And so now we've got them all plugged in nice and neat into the plug bar, and the plug bar is plugged directly into the wall and not another extension cord. That's the safest way.